Now, as China moves towards 6G, it's laying the groundwork for a digital future full of new opportunities.
6G is expected to not only speed up cellular and internet connectivity, it also promises to blur the lines between the physical and digital realms.
The world woke up to a seismic shift in technology when China made the unexpected and electrifying announcement that it had successfully developed 6G technology. Unlike the gradual evolutions that defined previous generations of wireless communication, this leap seemed to defy expectations and timelines alike. Experts, analysts, and governments around the globe found themselves scrambling to catch up to the full implications of what could be one of the most pivotal moments in the history of technology. The buzz was immediate, the excitement palpable, and the implications staggering. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. China's 6G revelation wasn't merely about faster internet speeds or incremental improvements over 5G, it promised an entirely new era of connectivity that could redefine how humanity interacts with technology, each other, and the world itself. Early glimpses into the capabilities of this technology showed data transmission speeds reaching up to 1 terabit per second, an astronomical leap compared to the relatively modest promises of 5G latency, already improved in the 5G generation, was slashed to virtually non-existent levels, enabling real-time responsiveness that had once been the stuff of science fiction. This wasn't just a matter of better smartphones or faster video streaming. China's 6G technology heralded the dawn of a fully interconnected world where everything, from vehicles to household appliances to medical devices, could operate with instantaneous precision. Smart cities could become a fully realized vision, with traffic systems dynamically adjusting to real-time conditions, emergency services responding in milliseconds, and energy consumption optimized down to the smallest watt. Remote surgery, once risky and heavily dependent on perfect conditions, could become as commonplace as video conferencing. Autonomous vehicles could move with hive mind coordination, eliminating the chaos of human error. The foundation of China's 6G technology rested on revolutionary principles that went beyond simple radio frequencies. While 5G utilized the millimeter wave spectrum to achieve its higher speeds, 6G pushed into the realm of terahertz waves, opening an entirely new frontier. Terahertz communication allowed for far greater data density and speed, but it also presented immense engineering challenges, not the least of which was overcoming the obstacles of signal degradation and limited range. That China had surmounted these issues astounded experts worldwide. The precision manufacturing, quantum-level advancements, and breakthroughs in nano-engineering that must have underpinned this development left technologists in awe. Furthermore, China's development of 6G technology wasn't confined to urban and well-populated areas. Demonstrations showed that rural and remote regions could access the same blistering speeds and seamless connectivity as bustling metropolitan hubs. This ability to eliminate the digital divide promised transformative changes for education, healthcare, and commerce across isolated and underserved populations. In one stroke, China seemed poised not only to lead the next technological era, but also to fundamentally reshape global socio-economic landscapes. The shockwaves rippled through industries that had only recently started to adapt to 5G. Telecommunications companies faced an urgent need to rethink their roadmaps. Manufacturers realized their existing plans for connected devices would need massive overhauls to leverage the new possibilities of 6G cloud computing architectures, which had only just matured into the edge computing models suitable for 5G, now appeared in need of yet another evolution. Even content creators found themselves standing on the brink of a new horizon. Virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality experiences, previously limited by bandwidth and latency, could become more immersive, realistic, and accessible than ever imagined. The defense sector took immediate interest. 6G's capabilities presented opportunities for new communication methods, unmanned vehicle control, real-time battlefield awareness, and secure data transmission strategies at speeds previously considered impossible. Space agencies saw in 6G a chance to revolutionize satellite communication and deep space exploration by dramatically increasing the data bandwidth between Earth and distant missions. Financial institutions realized that high-frequency trading, fraud detection, and global transactions could all be transformed by the near instantaneous communication that 6G promised. Public reactions were a mix of awe, excitement, and a touch of apprehension. The realization that China had effectively outpaced every other nation in the race to 6G was a humbling moment for many, especially those who had considered themselves at the forefront of technology. The announcement made it clear that technological supremacy was shifting, and that the new world order would be increasingly defined by those who could master the forces of connectivity and information at a level never before seen. Companies worldwide immediately set into motion massive reevaluations of their strategies. Some launched emergency task forces to understand the new technology. Others entered into partnerships, seeking any means to quickly adapt to a world where 6G would soon become the new norm. Intellectual property landscapes were redrawn overnight, with countless organizations diving into R&D races that would have otherwise taken years to initiate. Beyond the immediate industrial and economic implications, 6G posed fascinating philosophical questions about the future of humanity. When communication becomes so instantaneous, when distances are effectively erased by technology, how will societies evolve? The potential for virtual societies fully functional in hyper-realistic digital environments suddenly became not just feasible, but inevitable. Human interactions, cultural exchanges, education, and even governance could move into realms beyond the physical world, facilitated by the infinite bandwidth and imperceptible delay of 6G connectivity. Moreover, the data collection capabilities enabled by 6G would be unprecedented. Every movement, every interaction, every piece of environmental information could be captured, processed, and analyzed in real time. This opened immense possibilities for artificial intelligence development. Machine learning systems could now feed on a near infinite flow of real-time data, allowing for models that evolved, adapted, and responded far faster than anything currently conceivable. Artificial general intelligence, long considered a distant dream, suddenly seemed much closer. The energy sector also faced a fundamental transformation. 6G networks promised to be more energy efficient per unit of data transmitted, but the sheer volume of data and the number of connected devices could drive an exponential increase in total energy consumption. New technologies in battery design, wireless power transmission, and sustainable energy generation would need to be accelerated to support this next stage of global connectivity. For nations around the world, China's announcement was a clarion call to action. Governments convened emergency meetings. Technology councils re-examined their priorities. Research funding was rapidly reallocated. Policies and regulations that had been drafted around 5G were now obsolete before they could even be fully implemented. International relations began to subtly shift, with new alliances forming around those who could work together to keep pace with China's rapid technological ascendancy. Yet the most profound implications of 6G technology were perhaps the most human ones. In a world where experiences could be shared across oceans as if people were standing side by side, where virtual environments could rival physical reality, and where artificial intelligence could evolve with a fluidity mirroring human thought, the very fabric of human existence was poised for reinvention. Education could become a fully immersive, personalized journey available to anyone, anywhere. Medical treatments could be administered remotely with precision beyond anything previously possible. Creativity could flourish in digital canvases that obeyed the artist's will with perfect immediacy. China's 6G leap demonstrated not just technological prowess, but a vision of a world where connectivity was not a tool, but an intrinsic part of human existence. It was a bold, electrifying glimpse into a future that once seemed a distant dream. In this new era, information would be the most valuable currency, and those who could harness it most effectively would shape the world's destiny. This announcement also highlighted the critical importance of innovation ecosystems. China's achievement was not the result of isolated breakthroughs, but of a coordinated effort across government agencies, private corporations, research institutions, and universities. It demonstrated the power of a unified approach to technological advancement, where vision, funding, talent, and strategy align toward a common goal. Other nations found themselves contemplating how to replicate such a model, how to inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers to dream bigger, to aim higher. The cultural impact was equally profound. China's 6G success story ignited imaginations across the globe. Artists, writers, filmmakers, and futurists found new inspiration in the possibilities that ultra-fast, low-latency communication could unlock. New genres of entertainment emerged almost overnight, blending physical and digital realities in ways that defied traditional categorization. The line between virtual and real, imagined and experienced, blurred like never before. As the full implications of China's 6G announcement began to unfold, it became clear that the world was not merely entering a new technological era, it was stepping into a new human epoch. Connectivity at this scale promised to alter economies, governments, cultures, and individual lives in ways that would have been unimaginable even a few years ago. It was a moment of awe and uncertainty, a thrilling glimpse into a future that would be written by those bold enough to seize the opportunity. The shock that followed China's announcement was not simply the result of technical achievement. It was the realization that the pace of human advancement was accelerating beyond anyone's wildest predictions. The technologies that would build the cities of tomorrow, heal the sick, connect the lonely, and create new worlds of experience were no longer distant dreams. They were here, now, demanding new thinking, new vision, and new leadership. As industries, governments, and individuals began to grasp the scope of what 6G could mean, one thing was certain: the world would never be the same. China's achievement wasn't just a triumph of engineering, it was a profound statement about the future of humanity and the infinite possibilities that await when vision, ambition, and innovation come together. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but it would also be illuminated by the dazzling promise of a connected world beyond anything the world had ever known before. The profound ripple effects of China's 6G announcement had only begun to show their true magnitude. As industries reeled from the shock, a deeper examination revealed layers of potential and disruption far beyond initial expectations. While the world had spent the last decade preparing for the fully realized era of 5G, suddenly every plan, every projection, and every vision of the future needed urgent rewriting. What was most striking was not simply the power of 6G, but the breadth of its applications and the complete reshaping of technological landscapes it implied. At the heart of this upheaval was a new paradigm of communication, not just faster, but fundamentally different. With the ultra-high frequencies leveraged by 6G, possibilities such as holographic communication became realistic. Unlike the rudimentary holograms seen in early experimental stages, 6G enabled fully three-dimensional, high-fidelity holographic projections transmitted in real time across vast distances. Individuals could have business meetings, family reunions, or even medical consultations with full sensory immersion, feeling almost as though they were physically together. This transformation threatened to render traditional video conferencing and even physical travel for meetings obsolete, unleashing both enormous opportunity and considerable disruption across multiple sectors. Education faced a tectonic shift as well. Traditional classroom models, already challenged by digital platforms, now found themselves completely reimagined. With 6G technology, educational experiences could be personalized to an unprecedented degree. Students could step into historically accurate simulations of ancient civilizations, explore the microscopic world by virtually shrinking to the size of cells, or participate in physics experiments on virtual space stations orbiting fictional planets, all from their living rooms. Teachers could interact with students in shared immersive environments, no longer limited by geography or resource availability. Rural and disadvantaged regions, once struggling to access quality education, could suddenly leapfrog into world-class learning environments, drastically narrowing the education gap. Healthcare stood poised for perhaps the most radical transformation. With real-time data transmission and minimal latency, wearable medical devices could monitor patients continuously with hospital-grade accuracy, alerting medical professionals instantly to any anomalies. Beyond remote diagnostics, 6G opened the doors for networked robotic surgeries performed with precision across continents. Surgeons in one country could operate on patients in another with no perceptible lag, bringing world-class medical expertise to regions previously underserved or inaccessible. Personalized medicine, powered by enormous flows of real-time genetic, biological, and environmental data, promised longer lifespans and more effective treatments tailored to each individual. Transportation systems evolved almost overnight from independent vehicles into interconnected, intelligent networks. With every car, bike, drone, and pedestrian device linked through instantaneous communication, the dream of truly autonomous transport moved closer to reality. Traffic accidents, largely caused by human error, could plummet as vehicles coordinated their movements at millisecond speeds. Public transportation could operate dynamically, adjusting routes in real time based on passenger demand and city congestion patterns. Even aerial transport, including flying taxis and cargo drones, could become feasible at scale, tightly managed through 6G-based urban air traffic systems. The business world, too, faced disruption of unprecedented scale. E-commerce was set to move beyond two-dimensional screens into fully immersive, sensory-rich virtual marketplaces. Customers could walk through hyper-realistic virtual stores, touch and interact with products through advanced haptic technologies, and complete purchases in environments that blurred the line between real and digital. Customer service evolved from voice bots and chat interfaces to AI-driven avatars capable of interpreting emotional cues in real time, offering empathetic and highly personalized support experiences. The very nature of work began to shift. Remote work, once a niche concept accelerated by necessity during earlier global events, became a deeply immersive experience where virtual offices could mirror or even surpass physical ones in effectiveness. Teams could collaborate in real-time 3D environments, building products, designing architectures, and brainstorming ideas with the same, if not greater effectiveness, as in traditional office spaces. This brought a reevaluation of city structures, as the need for centralized corporate headquarters diminished. Urban planning needed to evolve, with cities potentially redistributing their resources toward residential and recreational areas rather than commercial office blocks. Entertainment exploded into new realms of possibility. Movies became participatory experiences where viewers could influence story outcomes in real time, immersing themselves fully into the narratives. Music concerts hosted in virtual venues could feature hyper-realistic interactions with fans, blending physical and digital experiences seamlessly. Gaming, already a colossal industry, prepared for a renaissance where players could fully inhabit vast, complex worlds with sensory feedback, transcending the limitations of current virtual reality technologies. Environmental monitoring and protection gained new weapons in the fight against climate change. With the capacity to deploy millions of interconnected sensors worldwide, humanity could achieve real-time global environmental monitoring, tracking changes in ocean temperatures, air quality, wildlife movement, and deforestation with extraordinary precision. AI algorithms fed by these vast data streams could predict ecological trends and offer solutions faster than ever before. Disaster response could become far more efficient, with drones, robots, and human responders coordinated instantly to save lives and mitigate damage. Cultural preservation and global heritage efforts received a monumental boost. Historic sites, fragile artifacts, and ancient languages could be preserved digitally with astonishing detail, allowing future generations to experience and interact with human history as if they were truly there. Virtual tourism became a major industry, offering people the ability to visit the world's wonders from their own homes, walking the streets of ancient Rome, or trekking the peaks of the Himalayas in near-perfect authenticity. Legal systems also faced a new frontier. The concept of digital rights expanded dramatically. New laws were required to define ownership, identity, and privacy in virtual spaces where interactions could be as meaningful as those in the physical world. Courts prepared for cases involving not just data breaches but virtual crimes, intellectual property theft in shared immersive environments, and disputes over digital identities. Jurisdiction itself became complex, as individuals could inhabit virtual spaces not tied to any single national boundary. Agriculture found in 6G a powerful ally. Smart farming technologies could now be interconnected at a level never before possible. Every plant, every square meter of farmland could be monitored and adjusted in real time for optimal growth conditions, reducing waste, increasing yield, and minimizing environmental impact. Automated machinery, guided by instantaneous data and AI analysis, could manage entire farms with minimal human intervention, revolutionizing food production and distribution. The financial sector raced to adapt. Central banks and private institutions saw the need for new forms of digital currency, secure enough to exist in ultra-connected environments where speed and trust were paramount. Traditional models of banking, stock trading, and investment advice began shifting toward decentralized, AI-driven, real-time platforms that operated continuously across national borders and time zones. Privacy concerns also took center stage. In a world where everything could be connected and monitored, protecting individual privacy became an urgent challenge. The same sensors and networks that enabled incredible conveniences also had the potential to create unprecedented surveillance capabilities. Debates raged over who owned data, how it could be used, and how citizens' rights could be preserved in an age of omnipresent connectivity. Political dynamics shifted dramatically. Technology had always been a lever of global influence, but China's 6G breakthrough amplified its soft power exponentially. Nations unable to develop or integrate this new technology risked falling behind economically, militarily, and culturally. Alliances began to form around shared technological standards and protocols, with technology blocs emerging as powerful forces in global geopolitics. Diplomatic efforts focused on establishing new norms for cooperation, competition, and conflict in the hyper-connected era. Space exploration itself entered a new chapter. The transmission of massive amounts of data from deep space missions back to Earth, previously bottlenecked by bandwidth and delay, could now be dramatically enhanced. Colonization plans for the Moon and Mars gained momentum, as astronauts and robotic systems could maintain near instantaneous contact with mission control, improving safety, coordination, and the psychological well-being of space travelers. Artistic expression evolved in breathtaking ways. Digital art, previously limited to flat screens, exploded into dynamic, immersive environments where creators could sculpt experiences out of light, sound, and sensation. Artworks could now exist as living, evolving entities, interacting with viewers in real time based on emotions, movements, and even thoughts. The boundaries between artist and audience blurred, creating entirely new forms of collective creation. Cybersecurity took on dimensions of complexity never before imagined. Protecting 6G networks required innovations beyond traditional firewalls and encryption. Quantum encryption technologies became a necessity, and cybersecurity strategy expanded to cover not just data, but sensory experiences and neural interfaces. A new arms race began in the digital realm, with hackers and defenders constantly vying for dominance in a world where seconds could mean the difference between stability and catastrophe. Philosophical and ethical debates intensified. If virtual experiences could become indistinguishable from physical reality, what did that mean for concepts like authenticity, truth, and identity? If AI systems could evolve in real time, learning and adapting at speeds matching human thought, what rights, if any, should they possess? Humanity faced profound questions about consciousness, existence, and the meaning of life itself. In a world where the lines between human and machine, real and virtual, were increasingly blurred, religious and spiritual communities grappled with new interpretations of ancient teachings in light of technological transcendence. Some saw the 6G era as a divine opportunity to connect more deeply across cultures and beliefs, while others warned of losing touch with fundamental human experiences. New spiritual movements emerged, blending ancient wisdom with digital consciousness, exploring the intersection of the soul and the machine. Language itself began to evolve. Real-time, ultra-accurate translation services made multilingual communication seamless, leading to the rise of new hybrid languages and cultural expressions. People could engage in conversations, business transactions, and creative collaborations across linguistic boundaries without hesitation, fostering a new era of global interconnectedness and understanding. Personal relationships adapted too. Virtual companionship, augmented by AI and realistic virtual avatars, became common. People formed deep, meaningful relationships in digital spaces, sometimes even blurring the lines between friendship, mentorship, and romantic connection. Societal norms around dating, marriage, and family structure began to shift, influenced by the ease and depth of virtual interaction. Individual empowerment reached new heights. Entrepreneurs could launch businesses entirely within virtual environments, accessing global markets without the barriers of physical infrastructure. Artists, teachers, inventors, and activists could share their visions instantly with the world, rallying support, funding, and collaboration at a pace never before possible. And as the world took its first tentative steps into this dazzling future, one thing was certain: the greatest transformations were still to come, fueled by the limitless possibilities of a technology that promised to unite every person, place, and idea into a living, breathing, ever-evolving tapestry of connection. The age of 6G had arrived, and with it, the exhilarating dawn of a new chapter in the human story. The echoes of China's 6G revelation had barely settled before a new surge of curiosity and innovation was ignited across every sector of society. As experts delved deeper into the technical architecture underpinning the technology, a clearer understanding emerged of just how fundamentally this next-generation network would change the inner workings of the world. At its core, China's 6G system was not merely about an evolution of communication. It was the creation of an entirely new framework for reality itself. What set China's 6G apart from all previous wireless generations was its integration of advanced AI-native networks. Unlike the 5G infrastructure, where artificial intelligence was layered onto an existing system to optimize functions, 6G was built from the ground up with AI as a foundational component. This meant that the network itself could autonomously manage, adapt, and evolve without human intervention. Traffic optimization, predictive maintenance, threat detection, and even system upgrades could be conducted by the network's own learning algorithms. This capability heralded a shift where networks would not merely be managed. They would become self-aware, proactive entities capable of responding to global demands with minimal lag and maximum efficiency. Another revolutionary feature of China's 6G vision was the fusion of communications and sensing. In previous networks, the two functions were separate. Communication sent information while sensing detected and monitored environments. 6G blended these into a unified system. Devices connected to the network would not only send and receive information, but would also sense changes in the physical environment, map surroundings in incredible detail, and react in real time. Smart homes could detect not just occupancy, but emotions, movements, air quality changes, or even minute structural shifts. Entire cities could be monitored and adjusted like living organisms, with every sensor feeding into a colossal, decentralized intelligence. One of the most jaw-dropping aspects of 6G was its promise of full-spectrum connectivity. Until now, wireless networks operated across specific slices of the electromagnetic spectrum. 6G, however, opened up possibilities to utilize the entire electromagnetic bandwidth, from sub-6 GHz bands all the way up to visible light communications Li-Fi and terahertz frequencies. This meant that even light sources like street lamps, office lights, and home fixtures could double as ultra-high-speed data transmitters, radically increasing the density and reliability of network connections. Every surface, every beam of light, every moving object could potentially become a node in a vast, hyper-connected ecosystem. In the manufacturing sector, the implications were monumental. Traditional factories, even those outfitted with 5G-enhanced automation, still suffered from latency and coordination limits. With 6G, factories could evolve into fully intelligent environments. Machines would no longer simply execute programmed tasks, but would collaborate dynamically, adapting to product changes, unexpected errors, or shifts in supply chain conditions in real time. Production lines would become fluid, self-organizing systems, capable of personalized, on-demand manufacturing at previously impossible scales. Agriculture, too, found itself on the brink of a technological revolution. Beyond simple smart farming, 6G-enabled agricultural systems could engage in holistic environmental interaction. Farms could simulate and predict crop yields weeks or months in advance based on real-time soil chemistry, atmospheric conditions, and even subtle microbial activities in the earth. Intelligent drones could plant seeds, apply microdoses of nutrients, and perform selective harvesting without any human direction, monitored and coordinated by the invisible lattice of the 6G network. Energy grids entered an entirely new paradigm. Previously, smart grids struggled with the vast complexity and lag associated with balancing supply and demand across distributed energy sources. 6G changed the game by allowing billions of data points, from individual solar panels to wind farms to home battery systems, to be aggregated and analyzed instantly. Energy loads could be balanced in microseconds, reducing waste, preventing blackouts, and optimizing renewable energy use to an unprecedented degree. Furthermore, energy transmission itself could integrate wireless power transfer over short distances, opening doors for mobile devices and electric vehicles that could charge simply by being within range of a streetlight or building. China's rollout of 6G also deeply impacted military strategies around the globe. Advanced battlefield communication systems were suddenly outdated. With 6G's ability to integrate communications, sensing, and AI decision-making into a seamless whole, military operations could function at a level of coordination and situational awareness that left conventional forces vulnerable. Swarm tactics involving thousands of autonomous drones coordinated in real time became feasible. Satellite constellations equipped with 6G communication modules could provide global coverage for reconnaissance, logistics, and precision operations, challenging the strategic dominance traditionally enjoyed by spacefaring nations. In the field of logistics, supply chain management underwent a radical transformation. With ubiquitous, ultra-fast, and ultra-reliable tracking of every item, container, and vehicle, supply chains could become nearly fully autonomous. Artificial intelligence, fed with up-to-the-second information from every point in a supply chain, could optimize routes, predict delays, and dynamically reallocate resources to maintain flow efficiency. Companies could achieve near-perfect just-in-time delivery systems, massively reducing costs and waste. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on China's new 6G technology announcement? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.